Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Intan Fazillah, student number A1B221068. Today, I'll be the adjudicator, or I will act as an adjudicator for Open Grand Final Run of National University Debating Championship. I think the debate is pretty clear actually. Both of sides of the House are standing in the same purpose for good democracy in election with motion. As a young Indonesian who deeply cares about democracy, this House believes that supporting the return to liberalism should be the main priority to decide how to vote in 2024 elections. So, based on the debate, the government side of the House believes that liberalism should be restored in democracy for political elections because liberalism is something that has an equal concept that represent all values. Given that the backgrounds of people in Indonesia are different, the existence of liberalism must exist to attract all participants in politics. The reason why participants are very important is because they should relate to this concept. While the opposite side of the House believes liberalism doesn't mean everyone can enter political discussion. Liberalism includes active barrier or freedom restriction. That is better get inclusion of Islam in the politics. That is better get conservatives and culture of Indonesian moral, guide Indonesian general society, moral guidance, and eventually enter the politics. So, from both of the side, I decided to give point more on opposite side of the house. And the winner as the first position goes to Deputy Leader of Position. And here the reason why I think based on the debate. For the Deputy Leader of Opposition of the debate is actually more on to the point of which party that whether it should be the main priority to decide how to vote in 2024. It is conservative and Deputy Leader of Opposition can answer question from the government in the middle of his explanation calmly enough and can provide evidence for his statement and their success on explaining my expectation of this topic. Opposite side of the house has complete manner, method very well. First, the method that they present is very good and provides very concrete evidence in society. They are not just talking theory but provide real evidence that is felt by the community. Second, their manner is quite good. Voice volume, breath regulation, voice pressure, and articulation are very good. Third, they carry out the method well, starting from the opening such as what ideas will be expressed, the purpose and direction of the topic, content such as disclosure of ideas, as well as the closing is well resolved. And for the government side, actually, I'm not saying that the government of the house is bad, but there are some points that they can reach opposite of the house. First, for the matter, the government side of the house, they have very good and clear material, but the weakness is that when they give evidence of opinions for their statement, it can always be refuted from the opposite side of the house. For example, when members of government argue that all Indonesian people, especially millennials, must support the existence of this concept of liberalism for transparency and attract more participants by informing young people about regular concept through education. While this opinion can be refuted by the deputy leader of the opposite, according to the deputy leader of the opposite, we cannot say that through education young people will know the concept of liberalism. It is necessary to remember that in reality, Indonesian who lives in poverty, they are more concerned with food, daily needs than having to think about concept of liberalism, and there is no impact on them. They have no access to education to know this concept. That's why the role of the economy is enough to play a role because if their economy is sufficient, then they can send their children abroad to or the university so they have opportunity to know concept of access liberalism education and become more liberal, and this is the point missing by the government of the house. Secondly, for manner, they have no problem. They convey very well from gesture, intonation, and others. And third, for method, I see them from the opening the content, they are only stuck in one scope of problems. For example, when OG explain the material, they can't explain why individuals who care about democracy necessarily care about liberal progressive policies. They just explain with only one so far as they explain why liberalism necessarily means a lot of democracy. Based on that, I think the proposal of the opposite of the House is pretty much more well explained rather than the government side of the House. Okay, that's all from me. I'm sorry if I make mistakes because this is my first time adjudicating the themes. Hope you enjoy the video. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.